This is Joseph. He started a community of founders that are making $1 million annual revenue with viral apps. Crazy part is, most of them aren't even developers. They just figured out exactly how to go viral and get eyeballs on their products.
And I've seen several of those pop up in the past few months as well. A lot of them earning like 10K MRR in the first month. What I'm really obsessed with is growth hacking and finding the people that are the best at growth hacking. They just made a brand new Instagram account. The first video they ever posted was 150K views. Completely brand new account.
Joseph reveals how he uses short form videos to go viral and exactly how he finds the creators and trains them to do it.
You can go viral on your very first video on a brand new account. The arbitrage is just, you need to find this talent somehow. So I go on LinkedIn and I make these posts. I think this is also an untapped talent pool.
And the biggest business opportunities he would start today.
I mean, you could get to 10K in the first week, actually, if you just... And every single time they ask me the same thing. They're like, what agency do you recommend? Like, is there an organic agency that can help me find creators? It's definitely a huge opportunity that just has not been unlocked.
I interviewed Joseph while he screen shared a ton of different examples of what's really working, the actual templates and tools he uses, including his newsletter funnel to get new creators, specific examples of virality even on brand new accounts, and the best business ideas and exactly how to start them. As always, all the tools mentioned will be linked in the description below, plus Joseph's exact Notion template he uses to train creators to go viral. Check out the link in the description. Let's dive in. You see a lot of this underpriced attention, and not only have you been a part of some of these viral apps, you advise to a lot of others. You have a lot of interesting people in your community. What are some of the things that you're seeing that other people don't?
Another thing that I always say is like, I'm not the best app founder myself. What I'm really obsessed with is growth hacking and finding the people that are the best at growth hacking. So my community is just a collection of people that are really good at growth hacking and are building viral apps. And one thing that I've seen recently is trying to find underpriced talent. So if you think about like the old influencer marketing world, you would find an influencer that has 100K, million followers. You'd pay them, I don't know, like $1,000, $5,000 to make a video. And then they would make the video, hey, link in bio, click the thing. And then, like a few years ago, that worked great. But then eventually like marketers poured into the influencer marketing space. And now it's like very overpriced. You'll reach out to an influencer, they'll say like 8K for like a single video. And so like, how do you find creators that will make scrappy videos that don't rely on huge follower accounts, which by the way is like completely possible. Like you can go viral on your very first video on a brand new account. So like the way that I thought about this in the beginning when I got started was, what kind of agency could I start to help these app founders? So I decided like, let's do a recruiting agency. So I built this newsletter funnel, and it's basically just a newsletter that helps college students find jobs. And I called it If You Know Careers. And it has 15,000 subscribers. And it's just a weekly newsletter that gives like internships and jobs. It's just a variety of different jobs. It gets like a 50% open rate every week. The way I grow it is just LinkedIn posts. So I just say like, hey, like make $50 an hour. There's a bunch of startups that want you to make TikTok videos. You don't even need any followers. You just have to be in college, interested in a career in social media, and comfortable on camera. Because the next step in this funnel is like, you just ask them like, hey, are you interested in marketing? And then I send them a request to make a video. So I go and ask them like a few questions. I just say like, what's your bio? Like, tell me about yourself. What kind of content do you make? What is the style of content that you're comfortable trying out? And then I ask them to make a 1-minute video. I just say like, just introduce yourself and like make a 1-minute video that follows these principles. So anyone, by the way, feel free to like, I can put this in show notes or whatever, but I just quickly outline, like it took me an hour to just like write this SOP. And I basically just took some examples of good videos. For example, like this client was Quizard.ai. They're an app that helps you do your homework as a college student. And it uses AI to scan the homework problem, and then it walks you through step by step. So I just go on Spy Talk. It's just a tool that helps you find outlier videos. So I do like study talk, college, student life, just find some keywords, find some outlier videos. For example, this this video was like a skit video where it's like, looking at the college student laptop kind of from behind in the lecture hall. And so I would like save this, and then just after saving a bunch of these videos, I would put them into this Notion page, send it to all the leads that I got from the newsletter and the job application, and then have them make 1-minute videos. So this is like an example of like one of the kids that made a video. He just said, here's Quizard. It's an app that helps you with your homework. And then I just sent these leads to Quizard, and you can charge, like a flat rate recruiting fee. So the ones that are highlighted, these are the ones that they decided to hire. You can charge like between like 1 and 3K flat rate, similar to like a recruiting agency, but it's just for like creators. And the cool thing is like once they get hired, the ones that didn't get hired, like you can just use them for the next client. And the more that you build up these leads, you're just kind of like building up this catalog. So I think there's a huge opportunity to build like the Athena or like Oceans or somewhere, these like these VA recruiting agencies, but for just like college students to make content.
You've already dropped a few nuggets here. First, you have this newsletter that you've grown organically, you sort of plug it through your LinkedIn. And I'd imagine you don't write this newsletter yourself. You probably have somebody that you hired, like one of the college kids who writes it.
Yeah, I do the same exact. I mean, I double dip in my own. Like I like I hire interns out of my own newsletter, and they
Right.
run, they run the newsletter.
And this isn't the first time you've grown a newsletter like this. You've done this before?
Yeah, I've done this. This is my third newsletter. So the first one I ever did was also job seekers. It got bought by a recruiting agency. And then I did another one for marketers, got bought by a marketing agency. And then I just realized like the talent pool is just so powerful that I just decided not to sell this one. I'm just going to keep it for talent purposes.
Right. And then the other thing you mentioned is like the name of the game is this underpriced attention, and you are building the system where you could teach the creators, who in this case the college students, and you just need to find the viral outlier. And so you use a tool called Spy Talk to do that. Then you aggregate all the learnings in your Notion, and anyone else could sort of start to do this for their own industry by first figuring out what are the proven viral content like themes or patterns.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you go into some of these videos, like I really think that organic is a science. Like everyone knows that Facebook ads is a science because you can split test and, change the hooks, change the CTAs. Organic is a little bit harder to see how it's a science because you post a video and it feels like a lottery. You're like hoping that it'll go viral. If you look at like, what is the hook? What is the transcript? This is what it's like to have your college dorm inside a mall. I mean, obviously that's like a good hook, but if you just go and like analyze hooks, you can correlate like which videos, hooks are correlated with the outlier number of views and engagement. However you want to analyze it, like you can now turn these insights into like 1-hour SOPs. If you reach out to 100 college students, 10 of them are really good at understanding this SOP, then you've just trained an influencer basically.
That you can monetize through matching them with other brands, as well as like your own brand or things that you're selling, or what you've hinted at is potentially, which we'll talk about too, is creating your own app, even if you're not a developer.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And then like, what do you do once you get these influencers? Like I said, like before, you don't need to have them have like a big follower count. So another app that I advise is called Locks Club. And they're this Jewish dating app. And they're kind of like this exclusive like members club type of dating app. And they have a pretty big social following already. They make these like skit videos, these funny like comedy videos with the team on Zoom. You might have seen them on your IG Reels feed. But they wanted to test out a new business. So they have this other business of like matchmaking parties. In order to test it out, they just made a brand new Instagram account. The first video that they ever posted was 150K views, completely brand new account. So I advise them, if you guys want to start this new business, you should just like have your existing creator team just make this new type of video on a new account so that you don't risk like showing your own followers. And it worked. Like they got 150K views. They just kept posting the same content format and they One of them hit like 800K views, and there's this, like IRL type of content. And so, you can do the same thing with your college student creators. If as long as the video itself has the ingredients of virality, you now have like the winning lottery tickets. Like go on Spy Talk. These are like winning lottery tickets. If you copy these videos like word for word, scene for scene, it will get the same number of views as it did before. Obviously, don't copy straight up, but the algorithm is very good. Like it'll show it to the right audience if the video is good.
What you're saying is you used to have this really big subscriber count and have these followers, but now brand new account often go viral. So it's almost like if you're coming up with a business idea or you're thinking of different product launches, maybe even before you develop the product or the software, just test the content first on brand new accounts, see if it pops. Maybe if nothing pops, then don't make the product. And then if something does, or maybe that informs the product that you want to start.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can start with the content.
So before we recorded, we talked about how you're doing something really interesting that I haven't heard anyone else talk about, in particular with the TikTok Shop Affiliate Center. Can you share what you're up to there and how others can start using this too?
Okay, so this is pretty big. I don't really see very many people talking about this because it's not really something that you would expect for the app space. But TikTok Shop, it's an e-commerce platform where it connects creators to brands, and then the creators earn affiliate commission on all the products that they sell through their videos. So as a brand, it's like really great because you get to grow risk free. You just upload your product, and then affiliates just take a commission on all the sales that they get. Usually it's like between like 10 and 25% commission. So there's tons of these creators just driving like tens, hundreds of thousands of GMV. And I think this is also an untapped talent pool. Where are all the apps? All of these views, all this GMV, this could be going towards apps instead of just physical products and e-commerce. And some people are currently doing this, but it's just so early. There's not that many people doing it. Like a lot of people use these like big kind of clunky enterprise like influencer outreach SaaS programs, and that's fine, but the average influencer that you find on those platforms, they're not proven. Like maybe they have a big follower count, but these people are all proven. Like they know how to make videos that actually sell products. Like I wouldn't even call these influencers. They're almost like direct response marketers or like SDRs that just happen to make videos. And their financial incentive is affiliate. So they're actually like, these people are machines. So like, for example, let's think about like a niche that you could sell. So if you have like let's just demo how this works. Anyone can access this, by the way. It's just TikTok Shop Affiliate Center. So let's think about like creators. Let's go to beauty. Let's do makeup, skincare, follower count. Let's not go for massive follower counts. And let's say independent creators. We don't want people who are managed by an agency. And there we go. So now let's see how many results this was. I don't even know, but it's a lot of results. All these creators have a consistent track record of like driving GMV for beauty products. Now we have to figure out, okay, how do we get them to make videos for us? I mean, TikTok Shop makes it really easy. Like you have 1,000 reach outs. You can just like invite them, create an invitation, write a message. I would go into here and show them a message, but I don't want to leak the things that I'm cooking up. Like for example, let's think about like a color analysis app. So this guy just joined Consumer Club. He's building this app studio that recently acquired What Colors, it's like a color analysis app. So if you think about it, like these beauty creators, they're selling makeup products and skincare products. The demographic that buys those products is the same demographic that would download this app, where it basically like scans your face and then it looks at your skin tone and your clothes, and it says like, here's the type of colors that you should be using for your fashion and your makeup and stuff like that.
Right. So first, you're in the very first example, you're like, you could go find the talent elsewhere off TikTok, train them how to become content creators. In this example, you're saying, or you could just go find the really good content creators who happen to all be selling physical e-commerce products. And then the move you're explaining is like either create the software app, such as color analysis, that's aligned to what they already would be selling.
Exactly. Totally. Yeah. Like, and you could think of this for any other niche. Like, there's all these categories. Like, you could like there could be an app for so many of these things. Apps for pets. There's apps for babies. There's apps for sports. There's apps for home improvement. I've seen an app that like scans your room and then it tells you where to put the furniture. There's an app for every physical product. Also, a slight tangent. Like, there's a lot of the whole idea of like, oh, there's an app for that. That idea has been around for like 15, 20 years. Like, since the App Store came into existence. The difference now is that the distribution is underpriced, first of all, because of TikTok. The second thing is that subscription revenue is the new meta. Back in the day when you could just upload an app to the App Store and it would get a bunch of downloads, there was all these apps that would get tons of downloads, but then nobody wants to buy an app. And the best way to monetize is like have a 99-cent app. But now, like, people actually pay for apps like on subscription. So like this app, what are the plans? What color is Pro? $30. So that's probably $30 annual plan. And then $7.99, that's probably the weekly or monthly plan. So they kind of price anchor it. And their LTV is probably like at least 30. Like, another thing that's driving this is just changes in consumer behavior. Like, Apple Pay, 2 clicks to do a subscription, but then it's also 1 tap to like cancel subscription. Apple has made it so easy to sign up and to also cancel subscriptions. So people are not as afraid to sign up for things and, you know, buy apps that bring them value. So
Is there any move for this that's more B2B, or this is all sort of B2C?
I think this is totally B2B. Like, if you don't have an app idea or you don't want to start an app, there's all these apps that exist already. Like, this is quiet.app. This is a studio. So you could get some ideas here. You could also check out just like Consumer Club. I also have a public list of like a bunch of app founders on Twitter. You can just check out those. But you could sell this service to them. So instead of like reaching out to these TikTok shop creators for your own app, you just do it as a service. So you could structure it in a way that's where it's like one-time fee, 2 to 3K flat, or you could do like a managed service where you manage the influencers and you have basically a content management agency where you find the influencers and you manage them for a brand. You know, whether that's an e-commerce brand or an app or anyone else. The third one is like talent agencies. So you can find influencers or creators and then you sign them as talent and then take a cut of the earnings that they get from the brand deals that you bring them. All of these are like B2B business models that currently are making a lot of money. And there's just so much more to be done in this space, because if you ask the average brand owner who's tried influencer marketing, hey, how is influencer marketing going for you? They will say they all say the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, I tried reaching out to a few, but they charge like 5K. It's like too hard. But it's just not true. Like, if you put in a little bit of work, you find underpriced sources of talent and the creators agree and it's a good deal for them as well, then you've just like unlocked that demand and that like hesitancy and that pain point of brand owners and business owners that want to try this influencer marketing stuff, but they just don't know how. It's definitely a huge agency opportunity that just has not been unlocked. I've run this community for the past 6 months now, and I do this onboarding call with every new member. And every single time they ask me the same thing. They're like, oh, what agency do you recommend? Like, is there an organic agency that can help me find creators? I'm like, no, there's just not that many. Like, there were a few for e-commerce, but there's just not that many for apps. And it's just like, if you want to start it for apps, it's just the small nuances of like finding the video formats that work really well for apps and then training creators to do those. Yeah, I wanted to show one more. There is another member. He hit 10K in his first week by, I really like this app idea. It's called Praise Screen. I also like their SEO. They like put Opal. Like, Opal and Hello are the biggest competitors in the space, because this app is basically a combination of Opal and Hello. So Hello is like a prayer app, and then Opal is a screen time reduction app. So it helps you block your apps on your phone so that you can spend less time addicted to your phone. But they just combined the two niches and said, like, if you are Christian and you want to pray more, and you're addicted to social media, use this app to do both at the same time. And also, another thing to note is like this guy, he's not like CTO. So he just like, he has a marketing background and he just joined like communities and then like found co-founders for some of these apps. Like this is his fourth app actually. So sometimes he like joins communities, finds co-founders technically, and then sometimes he goes on Upwork. So I actually dove pretty deep into his like Upwork method. He's able to hire on Upwork for like less than 5K for the entire projects, like sometimes as low as like 2K.
To
It's
develop
just
the whole app.
to develop the entire app. Yeah. And like there's so many people that think, oh, it's going to cost like 20K to make an app, because like the people that reach out to you on LinkedIn, they're like, oh, I have a dev shop. It's going to cost you 15K, 20K. So that's what that's what you expect an app to cost. But if you actually make a job application on Upwork and you say, here's the type of app that we want to build, you're going to get applications of people that are willing to take it. And you just have to filter for quality and it can be done. If you really have completely no technical background though, you can find co-founders. Like there's so many developers out there that are sick of their job, they're 9 to 5 and they want to make money online. There's people who do that as well. Like I have a couple of examples like this. Yeah, one of my friends like joined a viral app founders group and just found a technical co-founder in the first week and did 50-50 equity split. This other guy has a big Twitter following and then he just joined, found a developer to team up with and just found a co-founder in the first week. So there's like so many developers out there if you want to co-found, and then also Upwork, like just make a job posting.
Yeah, and was it the Tabs chocolate example that was the first sort of really big version of this, would you say?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like Tabs chocolate, Oliver Brocato, he went from 0 to 10 million in a year, just pure like TikTok marketing, e-commerce. It was a chocolate brand, aphrodisiac chocolate, so it's like naturally TikTok viral. But he used the same strat. He got a Discord full of creators, had them, gave them a Google Drive full of hooks and types of videos that they could make, and then they just had just pump them out. But then afterwards, he just decided like, hey, I'm gonna do the same thing, but for an app. So he made an app, a studying, AI studying app, similar to some of these other ones. He was one of the first. And yeah, he did the same thing. He was like non-technical. He just hired a team, and now I think Study Buddy is pretty successful as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And where do you see other opportunities for people to go out and do this? Maybe if they're non-technical and sort of this marketing agency owner persona.
Another thing that I think could be really huge is like this head of growth archetype. All the examples I've given about, okay, maybe hire college student creators, or hire, overseas creators, or hire TikTok shop creators. It still all involves someone on the team to manage the whole process and have kind of an emotional buy-in over that whole thing. Some teams don't have that. Like some teams are just purely technical and they just don't really know how to do marketing. So I think there's also a huge opportunity for like a fractional head of growth agency where you have a fractional head of growth that leads the growth strategy, not just finding the creators and managing them, but actually driving the strategy and the creative strategy of like basically like going onto Spy Talk or going onto TikTok and searching for things and figuring out like what the strategy is, and then training the creators, putting these videos into an SOP, following up the creators saying, here's how your hook could be improved. Here's how your CTA could be improved. That person ideally is also a creator. And like, for example, I have this friend, Daniel. He's head of growth at this startup. He has his own following. He makes like funny vlog content. But then he's also the head of growth, head of like TikTok, like social media growth at this app startup. And he started out as an intern, but then he was just so valuable that the company just promoted him to head of growth. He told me that he gets dozens of DMs every week from other startups that are like, can I hire you to be my head of growth and blow up my startup on social media? And the problem is there's just there's only one of him, right? There's like not there's not like 100 Daniels. But the thing is, there are 100 Daniels. Like if you go through his following list, I bet you could find tons of creators that are just doing their own thing, but they could be making like consistent money by working with clients. And it's at zero risk to their reputation because like a lot of creators have a lot of hesitation around doing brand deals on their own account. But if you tell them, hey, you can be head of growth at the startup and just grow this account, that's zero reputational risk. Like no one's going to call them a sellout because they're doing it on a different account to a different audience, but they're just taking their raw skills and applying it to something that has business application. So I think there's an opportunity for a headhunting agency, but it's almost like an exec level headhunting agency because you're finding like a head of growth. So you find an influencer and tell them like, hey, do you have like, do you want to work for a cool startup? Like we'll pay you like, I don't know exactly what the range would be, but several thousand a month. And you could take a portion of that in order to like manage the process and kind of guide the strategy. There's so many creators out there that want consistency of income. If you can offer them a really good career opportunity working at a cool startup, the startup would pay you a lot of money for that.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. And even just hearing you share some of these examples, like some of the TikTok viral ones were faceless. Like it doesn't even create, you don't even need the creator. And then two, for the rest of these, just how given the attention is the asset here. And so these are just different ways to get that attention at scale. And once see that in different ways, I think that fundamentally will change how marketing is done in the future where, oh, well, I could go do this for a company. Maybe you do that at first through an agency model and you dial in the SOPs and you get some good cash flow. And then from there, you get to cherry pick what is the next viral trend that you could create your own SaaS or software app. I guess that's kind of exactly what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I'm always looking out for how do we take a tactic from one industry and then take it to a different industry. So the same thing with Tabs Chocolate, they did the TikTok strategy for e-commerce, but then he took it to apps. So like you could do the same thing, but for apps. Like for example, I've seen this app. It's called Cheater Buster. And basically you like put in the name of your significant other and their location. And then you can see like, do they have an active Tinder profile? And then like it just like the concept itself, is very naturally viral. But the thing is, these are not like the majority of the videos that go viral are not the company itself posting. It's just clipping. So they hire these street interviewers to get hours and hours of really good reactions and footage of people like actually using the product live. And then they have this affiliate program where the clippers, very similar to how they do it in the music industry, they have all these clippers like making these clips, getting paid out CPM, and then the videos drive all this attention to the website, and then they make money with I think they charge like hard paywall for finding performing the search. So if you go to like YouTube and you go to like Kai Cenat, like Shorts, he's the biggest Twitch streamer. You go to channel. There's like so many Kai Cenat like clipping accounts, and none of these are actually Kai Cenat. They're just kids like posting clips. Like these kids are organized in Discord servers, and it's a really good agency business. So like here's an example of the clipping server. So I have some of these saved. If you look at some of these clipping servers, like this one for example, is
And so real quick, what's happening is you're saying someone like Kai or somebody like Drake or a musician, they're saying we're willing to pay on a CPM basis for any content that features, this song or this person. And then so what you're saying is there's a corner of the internet that most people have not seen, but you're in a lot of these, and this is where these transactions happen.
exactly, yeah. It's like all your favorite biggest artists like Drake like uses this. Kai Cenat uses this. Like any new song. I just joined the Lizzo one today. She has a new song coming out. So there's this Lizzo deal now that is, let's see, how much are they paying? They're paying $350 per million views, 3,500 max per creator. So if you're like a teenager and you just want to make clips and include Lizzo's song in it, you can earn like $3,000 just like posting clips on short form video. And you have to source the clips like from the live stream and you have to use the newest song. The owner of this Discord server probably gets a very nice margin because think about $350 per million views. That's like 35 cent CPM. And if you think about Lizzo's team, they're probably willing to pay so much more than that. So I think it's just an imbalance in demand versus supply. Like there's so much demand for this clipping and going viral on short form video, but there's just not enough agencies that are able to meet the demand.
This is crazy. You're sort of blowing my mind showing me some of these things, but it also makes so much sense, right? And a small part of me hates that this is our society today. I think probably a larger part of me sees just so much opportunity to apply this in different ways, whether it's a marketing agency owner or just ideas for your own software. We've talked about outsourcing it, but also like it's easier today to create your own software than it has ever been. You also just have really good frameworks and ways to take things that seemingly can't go viral and make them go viral. I think you did a Twitter thread on that once. Can you talk about how you could just make things viral, in whether that's random examples, or maybe you could use AppSumo as an example to talk through ideas like what would you advise us to do?
So it's just kind of about knowing the current content trends. People talk about ChatGPT. Like I just kind of knew that like, oh, people talk about ChatGPT therapy. That's a thing that people talk about on TikTok. So if you use the same hook, like, hey, I use ChatGPT for therapy, you could talk about that for 20 seconds and then say like, oh, but by the way, I also use this other app. Like it's a little bit better, after you've retained the viewer for like 20 seconds.
Right. You've seen that on TikTok and you're like, oh, this is kind of like this. You could do a similar thing. Any maybe less obvious ones that you've seen or that you've ideated on?
Something like this is practice flirting app. I don't know, this random guy just like commented and he's like, oh, I have an app that helps you practice flirting. I was like, practicing flirting, like it kind of is similar to practicing a new language in a way. So I thought of this other channel, Practica, where it's an app that lets you talk to this AI like video thing, like AI person in another language in order to like practice language learning by immersion. And it's called Practica. And they do really well just by posting straight up product demo of a guy talking to the AI. And it's just kind of like weird, uncanny valley. But with this app, you could do the same exact content style. If you just have that idea of like, oh, like what other niche could you be taking content ideas from and then applying it to your own niche? That's the approach that I take. Like, even if you go back to the color analysis example, like I would go on Spy Talk and search beauty, just like think of keywords. So if you think about like these creators and like what kind of content could they create for an app like this color analysis app, you say beauty, makeup, get ready with me, K beauty is like becoming a big thing. And then you could like find the video trends, see what the hooks are, analyze the hook, turn that into like video scripts that you give to your creators.
If all your stuff today went away and you were going to figure out a way just to make 10K a month, what would you do that would be the highest probability of doing that in the quickest amount of time?
I think influencer search is just the most obvious low-hanging fruit that does not necessarily have the biggest retention, because once you find the influencers, you get paid once and then that's it. But it's such easy cash. Like there's so many businesses that want to find influencers and they don't know how. And there's just so many platforms to do it. Like we talked about the TikTok Shop Affiliate Center, going on LinkedIn, finding kind of college students, there's also just so many other tools. Like I'll give you 3 tools right now. You could start an agency today with any of these 3 tools. There's one called creatorcontacts.io. This costs like $200, I think. There's topyappers.com is also an influencer database. And it's a bunch of scraped creators. You just cold email them or cold DM them, ask them, hey, do you want to make videos for this brand? We'll pay you. And then you just take a cut. You could go to creatorhunter.io, basically the same thing. But these SaaS tools exist, but there's just not a lot of agencies that are doing it. A lot of brands are trying to do it themselves, but they're just too busy. So that's the angle. You just say, hey, we'll save you a bunch of time, like combing through these applications and creators and knowing what to look for. Like, do these people actually have good content or not? And then charge that as a service. Like you can charge, like I said, like the 3K retainer, just one time like contingency, and just get like three of those a month, and that's like 9K, 10K.
Yeah, and you also like build out not only your ability to spot top talent and what's working, but then you just have those influencers that you work with, and maybe you focus on a specific niche, and then you could, make that same introduction but to a different brand, same pool of influencers, right?
Totally. Yeah. Like the talent supply is such a huge moat. Once you have a big Rolodex of people, then eventually like you can see which ones. Like the bigger play is actually talent agency. Like once you see the brand deals that they get and they actually perform well for the brands, you can follow up and ask them, hey, how did it go? If it went well, you can be like, hey, I'll just pay you on retainer and then take a cut of your sales. And that's like the bigger play, like once you build up a really big Rolodex. But in the beginning, you can just charge the brand side like a few K just to connect them with the influencers.
Yeah. Dude, this has been awesome, Joseph. Any other last things that I love how just so many tools and resources. Any other last things that you would leave the viewer with in order to have them go out and do some of this stuff for themselves?
Yeah, I got a shill. So
please,
just like the free CTA is just follow my Twitter and also follow this list. So if you want to like check out like what app founders are talking about, just go to this Twitter list that I created. It's called Viral App Founders. And this is just a list of like a bunch of app founders that are trying to go viral on TikTok. So they're all like experiencing these pain points. And a lot of them are in Consumer Club and Viral App Founders group. This is a really good list to just like scroll through if you're on Twitter. And then I run Consumer Club. So this is a community of app founders. If you want to start an app yourself, you come from the e-commerce space or affiliate space, you want to start an app, there's a lot of like post-exit people who join Consumer Club and they add a lot of value. If you are completely brand new to apps, then you can go to Viral App Founders, and it's a lot more like content based. So we just like go through step by step, like how to hire an Upwork dev for 1.5K, like how to go through the design process and like creating an app from scratch, and then like doing the TikTok marketing and stuff. But like follow me on Twitter. Also, if you're in like New York, SF, or LA, we have a lot of events like in real life. So we like hosted like one in New York. We have this LA mixer coming up. So meet IRL if you're nearby one of those cities.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much for sharing everything. Everyone, definitely check them out, and then we'll maybe put all these resources in the show notes as well for people.
Sounds great.
Cool. Thanks, Joseph.
Thanks, Mitchell.